future of Malaysia's inclusive growth is digital. Malaysia's digital economy presents exciting opportunities for every Malaysian to thrive and succeed. Microsoft arrived here almost 30 years ago, greeted by the nation's promising potential. Together with Malaysia, we aim to help harness that potential. As our country progresses further on its journey to become a regional leader in the digital economy, we're working in close partnership with the rakyat, business and government to help drive Malaysia's inclusive, responsible and sustainable development. To advance Malaysia's digital economy and innovation, we're building and enabling digital infrastructure with our first Microsoft data center region in Malaysia. This will drive new socio-economic opportunities in the country. To further boost Malaysia's growth, we're empowering digital workforce and ensuring digital inclusion, including a commitment to skill 1 million Malaysians by the end of 2023. Our commitment to Malaysia is grounded on our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. As Malaysia takes its next digital leap forward, together we stand with Malaysia.
Hello and a very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Microsoft SME Forum, Part 1, Leveraging Modern Technology to Drive Business Growth. My name is Julia Woon, and I'm absolutely delighted to be your host this morning. This webinar is brought to you by Star Media Group in partnership with Microsoft. Whether you are attending this webinar on Microsoft Teams, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, thank you very much for taking the time to join us here today. I hope all of you are keeping well and safe, and feel free to chat with us and let us know your thoughts throughout today's webinar. You can type your questions or comments in the chat box or in the comment section. At this webinar, you will learn how companies are leveraging the right technologies, not just to sustain their businesses, but to navigate the challenges brought by the pandemic to surface even stronger than before. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're all eager to kickstart today's webinar. Before we begin, allow me to share with you a few quick reminders. Please be patient if you experience any technical or internet glitches during this webinar. If the session is disconnected abruptly at any point in time, please hang on tight as the show will go on, and we will definitely be right back in just a short while. If you need any assistance from us, please chat with us, or you could also email us at events@thestar.com.my. If you have any questions on your organizational challenges or business concerns, please post it in the chat box or the comment section. We will try to address all of your questions. If you are on the Microsoft Teams platform, feel free to turn on live captions for this event if you wish. Now, allow me to go through today's agenda with you. We have with us today Tan Shu Hoon, the SMB Sales Manager from Microsoft Malaysia, who will kickstart the webinar with a welcome remarks followed by an overview of the solutions that Microsoft has to offer for SMBs and SMEs. After which, we have an exciting fireside chat with business thought leaders on how you can leverage the right technology for successful business continuity. Joining us on the panel today are Rizal Naini, Chief Executive Officer, SME Corp Malaysia; Jane Tay, Managing Director, Lala Move; Rushdan Anwar, IT Director, MyEG. Part 2 of our webinar will be happening tomorrow, where we will be sharing some solutions that are available to help your companies take the digital transformation step to be more productive, more secure, and more relevant in this current landscape. That's not all. We also have a total of 500 ringgit worth of prizes to be won for the lucky winners. So do stay with us until the end of the webinar to complete the survey form from the Star Media Group. With that said, let us now welcome Tan Shu Hoon, SMB Sales Manager at Microsoft Malaysia, to kickstart today's event. Over to you, Shu Hoon.
Thank you, Julie. Hello and a very good morning to you. My name is Shu Hoon and I'm the SMB Sales Manager at Microsoft Malaysia. Thank you for taking the time to join us to learn about how you can leverage the power of modern technology to spur long-term business growth, resilience, and productivity in a safe and secure manner. As Julie has mentioned, we are running a two-part webinar series where we will be sharing the industry overview today, and tomorrow we will be covering more on the technologies and solutions available for businesses to move to the next level. Ever since the implementation of first MCO, we have seen and experienced firsthand how transformation has taken place across Malaysia as more and more businesses adopt technology to succeed in the digital economy. We also have witnessed how some businesses have built resilience using technology, finding new opportunities to tap into to ensure long-term business continuity. Our pandemic experience have not only highlighted the importance of technology in increasing productivity, but also organizations' needs for proper digital integration and transformation moving forward. With the right technology, the size of a business is no longer a factor that determines success. It creates a level playing field, allowing even the smallest of the businesses to grow and thrive successfully. We at Microsoft have supported the growth of businesses, big and small, creating value proposition and offerings that are affordable for startups, entrepreneurs, and micro SMEs. We offer a wide breadth of technologies with free trials, including SMB-specific cloud software and hardware designed to help with your day-to-day business management and operation effectively. To help SME who are looking to get started right away, we have developed an all-in-one offering tailor-made for SME with Microsoft 365, for example. Microsoft 365 does not only feature Office applications such as Word, PowerPoint, or Excel, but also includes Teams, allowing you to seamlessly communicate with employees and co-workers on a safe and secure platform, encouraging collaboration via an all-in-one application. Besides, Microsoft 365 includes cloud storage with OneDrive and SharePoint, allowing businesses to save their data and documents on secure and private server without needing to invest in building any physical infrastructure. This integrated portfolio solution is specifically designed to empower SMEs to make the move to the cloud and become tech-savvy in a simple and cost-effective way and with ease. Also, did you know that you can start with an Azure free account and free credits? It's a cloud services that is scalable and agile to leverage readily available enterprise-grade apps securely. This will help safeguard your data and provide you with a backup and disaster recovery during emergencies. The ease of which technology can be implemented into any business means that you no longer need to be an expert in technology to effectively utilize it. The key to success is to leverage the right technologies for successful business continuity. And with that, I wish you a fruitful session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Shu Hoon. Now, before we move on to the rest of the program, let's watch a video of how Tim Ken, CEO of TK Cannery, turned his business challenges around instantly and became the king of cans again with Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Power Platform.
Hi, I'm Tim Ken, and I'm the CEO for TK Canneries in Darren Berhad. I inherited the family business from my father. He once said to me, "Atai, I'll be gone one day and you will have to take over the business. If you work hard enough, you will be the king of cans." My father is gone now, and I've become the king of cans like my father said. With a lot of help from my supportive wife, we transformed my father's humble shop lot into a medium-sized factory in Rawang that can can anything. Canned pineapples? Can. Canned curry chicken? Can. Canned lychee? Can. And if you can think it, we can it. Then one day, I encountered a new challenge that changed everything for me. Running my business from home. That's when I heard those words for the first time.
Managing your business from home? That can't be easy.
I knew my wife was right. But what choice do I have? I'm the king of can, not the king of can't. I tried accessing my work documents. Did I leave it in the office?
How to keep track of all your documents? I can't imagine.
Keeping track of my staff was impossible. Hey, Sam, have you submitted your report? I don't see it in my inbox. Can you send it now?
So many staff to monitor. This can't be possible.
I tried to plan my day. I'm booked for 2 meetings at the same time? How did this happen?
There's just too many meetings to attend. This is so confusing. It can't be easy.
Running a business from home is a challenge. There's gotta be a way to make it easier. But then, my wife showed me something that just might work. I was intrigued, so I started doing more research. I found the solution with Microsoft 365. In addition, I can apply for any digitization grant or loan for SMEs to help me along the way. Awesome! So, I got a hold of a Microsoft partner and acquired a Microsoft 365 subscription. Armed with Microsoft 365, let's see how much I can accomplish in one day. Attending meetings from home is now a breeze. I can even collaborate and work on business plans in real time with my staff using Teams. Can. With Teams, OneDrive, and familiar Office apps like Word, PowerPoint, or Excel, I can share and collaborate on document edits in real time with my staff. More importantly, privacy and security controls are built into the platform. So, I don't have to worry about files being leaked out or shared without permission. Can. Shh. Discussions with my staff can happen anytime, anywhere. Even when the surrounding environment is noisy. Just turn on live caption. Can. Keeping track of tasks on hand of my staff is also easier with Planner. Planner allows me to monitor all the action items my team has at one glance. On the customer side of things, it is even better as now they can see my available time slots and book a business call with me. All it takes is less than a minute with bookings and it's done. And thanks to Power Apps, we managed to develop a sales order app that monitors our inventory, update pricing, check sales order status, and load orders for our customers as well. Now, the team can get more done in less time. Can. With my cannery business back on track, I'm now back to being the king of can. I'm Tim Ken, and if I can run my business smoothly from home with Microsoft 365, you can too.
What an inspiring video indeed. What Team Ken experienced here is very real and definitely resonates with many of us in this new normal. I hope that video gives you the inspiration and motivation to take that leap to grow your businesses further. Coming up next, we will have a fireside chat leveraging the right technology for successful business continuity. And this will be moderated by Cynthia Ng, news anchor from Astro Awani. Over to you, Cynthia.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cynthia Ng, and I will be the moderator for the Fireside Chat. Economic recovery is underway in Malaysia with the relaxation of restrictions and reopening of most sectors. Now, during the pandemic, we saw how rapid digital adoption had helped organizations maintain business continuity and to stay resilient. Digital, without a doubt, will continue to be at the heart of the economic recovery. But how can companies emerge from the pandemic? With the help of digital infrastructures such as cloud and analytics, businesses can expedite recovery and come out even stronger than before. And joining us today to talk about strategies to recovery and the tools available, please welcome Rizal Naini, CEO of SME Corp Malaysia. Joining us as well is Jane Tay, Managing Director at Lalamu. And last but not least, we have Rushdan Anwar, IT Director at MyEG. Welcome once again, everyone, and thank you so much for being here this morning to share your experience and insights. Now, if I may start with understanding the impact of the past 1.5 years to businesses, I think, Rizal, if I may start with you, because SME Corp is, of course, the central point of reference for research and data on SMEs and entrepreneurs. How much of a wake-up call, Rizal, do you think has the pandemic been SMEs that threats to businesses could come in various directions, not just from your competitors?
Thank you, Cynthia. A very good morning to all. Before I actually respond to that, I give you some of the profile and landscape of SMEs in Malaysia. As we know that the crucial role of SMEs in the economic growth of Malaysia is undisputed, considering that they make up about 97.2% of the business establishment, totaling about 1.15 million of business entities, yes, contributing about 38.2% to GDP, as well as employed 7.25 million people, as well as contributing 13.5% of the Malaysian export in 2020. Yeah, so the unprecedented disruption from the COVID-19 pandemic has actually slowed down the economic growth, affected the resilience of entrepreneurs and in the industries, meaning that they are living in the very uncertain times due to the pandemic currently. We are, as the government, we actually take cognizance in terms of the SME sectors. It is the most vulnerable affected groups. And with 95.3%, Cynthia, they actually experienced a sudden drop in sales during the initial containment period. Yeah, and out of these, 44% of the respondents cited that they have declined in sales more than 70%, and only 1.7% reported an increase in sales, and 3.1% reported no significant difference in sales. So we can see how significant they are in terms of this pandemic COVID-19 affect their businesses. Besides the decline in sales, the fierce competition based on price factors had made the situation even worse, yeah, and therefore SMEs had to retrench their workers, mainly due to reduce their business costs, as well as to look into the business slowdown, yeah. So they have to overcome this, and we actually did some study, and from the outcome-based evaluation that we did, 27.8% of SMEs had to retrench their workers due to COVID-19. Yeah, so to survive stormy seas currently, I mean, the businesses, SMEs need to embrace the agility and adapt to new challenges quickly. Therefore, COVID-19 pandemic has been a wake-up call for businesses, whether it's big or small, to embrace digitalization. And the new normal created by the global pandemic has redefined Malaysia's approach towards the economic priorities and strategies. Yeah? As we know that the crisis has brought into a sharp focus the need to build resilient, sustainable and inclusive ecosystem for the SMEs, with the technology and digitalization taking the center stage. And we have Budget 2022 recently. Perhaps I can share more later how we can actually look into and address these digitalization gaps for the SMEs.
Well, thank you, Rizal, for giving us an overview of the impact of the pandemic towards SMEs. And I think you have rightly underscored just how important this sector is to the Malaysian economy. During the movement restrictions, during the lockdown, we also saw some businesses have really stepped up to keep the country going, for instance, like platform providers and delivery services. And as such, I want to move to Jane. Lalamu, of course, has played a pivotal role as last-mile delivery solutions during the pandemic. As an essential service, Jane, can you share the kind of technologies that your team has had to leverage to better engage with customers, especially coping with surging demands at that time?
Hi, first of all, good morning to all the panelists as well as Cynthia. It's a pleasure to be here. So during the pandemic time, it was really crucial for us to really step up and serve the nation. I think that the government with such a long lockdown in Malaysia, a lot of businesses are no doubt affected, right? We don't just empower users, we don't just help users, we also empower the SMEs. Like results, this SMEs are backbone of the economy. So definitely to cope with this surge, we had a lot of tech in place. First of all, I would like to highlight is that we have real-time GPS tracking for vehicles, so you are able to understand where your parcel is at, especially for small businesses when they have ongoing 10 deliveries at the same time. They need to make sure that all their customers receive the item. Hence, I think this real-time GPS tracking is very, very helpful to help a business to satisfy, I guess, customer needs at that time. Aside from that, we also have driver favorite system. So once the driver have completed your order, you can rate your drivers. And as a platform provider, it's important to have transparency and as well as improvement of the driver quality. So when a driver is being flagged or offense being done, we need to be able to tackle that issue. Hence, we have the transparent rating and review system for our drivers. Lastly, I think to cope with the surge, whenever government announced there's a lockdown or there's a slight relaxation, we do see quite a huge movement in terms of our demand as well as our supply. So to cope with our demand, we definitely need live chat in place. We had chatbots in place. Initially, the chatbot was not optimized fully, but with the help of AI and constant optimization of the chatbot, it's more of a human touch now rather than speaking to a robot. I think moving forward as demand grows, especially for peak season for all e-commerce, all this tech in place will help to reduce the operational costs. It's just like why Lalamove exists in the market, right? We are helping to reduce the barrier of entry for anyone that would like to start their own business. Logistics won't be your headache because it won't be not just a headache, it's also additional costs that they have to put in to start their own fleet, managing the drivers. I think that with our service, they can definitely leverage without taking away the headache of logistics, but at the same time they are able to focus on their core portfolio, grow their business as well as serving more customers.
Thank you for that. I think what you mentioned about lowering the barrier to entry to running a business, that is so crucial, especially now. You know that businesses are still facing cash flow issues and still trying to recover from the pandemic. I'd like to get to Rushdan to talk about operating in a digital first environment, because MyEG has been doing that for over 2 decades now. No, in fact, I use MyEG a lot. I feel like it's definitely a lifesaver by offering online solutions to otherwise mundane, out-of-date services. So Rushdan, maybe you can share your experience. When the pandemic hit, many government services were disrupted. MyEG, of course, it bridges government agencies and citizens to the website. Yeah. As the IT director of MyEG, what kind of digital strategies that you had to undertake to respond to the disruption? And at any point, did you have to transform any of your products and services?
Thanks, Cynthia, for the question, and good morning to all the panelists. So just to answer your question, so when the pandemic started, our main focus was to ensure that all our staff were taken care of, that they were able to work safely, and also to ensure that our business operations, that the services that we render to our customers were not affected. So in order to do that, I think the IT department within the company, we came together and we internally developed systems that allow our staff to essentially update their health status and report in whenever they come to the office. So interestingly, after coming up with this system, we found out that it's a viable system. We decided to commercialize the system in other countries where we had presence, such as the Philippines and Indonesia. And also we determined that we had to expand our services into other sectors as well, such as health and travel in a big way, such as offering MySafe Travel as a portal for travelers to come into Malaysia, and also MySafeQ, which is a service that allows anybody to actually book hotel quarantine if they need to. So essentially, our digital adoption strategy involves having internal champions within the IT department that were able to promote the use of remote working tools. Because essentially, traditionally, we weren't working remotely. Most of us are working in the office. So we had to have internal champions to be able to do this. Apart from using Microsoft Teams, we also had an internal chat system which was mainly used by the IT engineering team. And what we did was we pushed this system to be adopted in other departments as well. And that allowed them to essentially create public, private groups quickly, securely, and also to be able to link discussions to issues and project management tickets that allowed us to better coordinate projects and tasks in a fully remote working environment. I think in a pandemic situation, I think most importantly, what we had to do was we had to ensure that our systems continue to be secure. So we had to periodically assess our security posture. We had to implement mitigation actions to ensure that it's maintained. And as our staff started working from home, we had to also be proactive by de-risking things like remote access, by implementing like multi-factor authentication, as well as deploying robust and effective endpoint security solutions. So in terms of our products and services, it didn't really change that much because it was conceived as a contactless service on behalf of the government. However, we do continue to improve our customer service and engagement by implementing, new platforms for engagement and support, which includes online live chats and automated chatbots. So that's a work in progress, and we continue to improve our services to our customers.
Thanks for that, Rushdan. And it's quite interesting to see that MyG responded to new needs or new services that people need, and to roll it out quickly, and that requires the tools, right? The readiness, especially on the technical and digital front. I think what we gather from all three panelists is that, ready or not, disruption can happen anytime from anywhere. I'd like to bring this discussion back to Rizal to really understand what do SMEs need to survive the pandemic? Yes, going digital is one. And now as we move into the recovery phase, as the economy reopens, do SMEs still see the value of technology as a necessary investment? And if yes, what digital capabilities should they focus on building for the coming years?
Yeah, Cynthia, the digital technologies will take center stage in the new normal, as these technologies can help firms to better cope with the kind of disruptions that you mentioned. For example, like rapidly shifting consumer demand and confidence, operational disruptions, uncertainty and redundancies in the workforce as they encountered in the COVID-19 lockdown. As digitalization continues to gather pace throughout the world, it is imperative for Malaysian SMEs to embrace the digital economy to not only ensure that are not to be left behind, but also to help to spur the economic growth. And as we know, e-commerce is a game changer for SMEs, giving that new opportunities for SMEs to break away from the limitations of a small market into a global market with billions of customers. And we actually did a survey, a SME study in 2018, showing that SMEs that are using social media and e-commerce in their business operations are seeing productivity improvement of between 26 to 27%, proving that leveraging on the internet for e-commerce will boost the growth of opportunities, sales, productivity, as well as wealth creation for SMEs. For the economy as well. So under the 12th Malaysian plan, we actually have these digitalization programs, and digitalization of SMEs will be undertaken as an important national agenda to transform the conventional way of doing business to the business that we are doing currently online. A national SMEs digitalization roadmap will also be introduced to drive the adoption of this digitalization. And among some of the programs that perhaps I can say here, for example, like the digital onboarding for micro businesses, digital transformation acceleration program, as well as initiative from SME called by the name of Warungku. We also have that platform for our small businesses, especially micro enterprises, to inculcate or perhaps to adopt e-commerce for their day-to-day business. And embedding digital technology in business models has proven to be a boon for productivity and sustainability in the long term. And this has been particularly evident during a time of crisis like COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, and to survive in this post-pandemic world, there are three areas for SMEs. They can adopt. Number one is about digitalization and innovation. Number two is sustainability, and the third one is inclusiveness. Perhaps I can actually share what does it mean by leveraging on innovation and digitalization is that we would like to see SMEs to actually adopt this innovation and digitalization approach. For example, like activities in the e-commerce, digital payments, teleworking, remote learning, video conferencing, you can name it, like online health services as well, and end-to-end logistics services that are prevalent in today's economy. Yeah, and we can see that the online presence among SMEs doubled from 35.3% recorded in 2019. These are during the pre-COVID-19 era, to 75.8% in 2021 during the post-COVID era. So it is very important now for the SMEs, including the micro enterprises, to adopt digitalization. Second, about sustainability, as I mentioned just now, is about the principle of sustainability that they need to actually inculcate in their business strategies. For example, like looking into the integration of environmental, social, and governance, which are more or less what we can say is to be ESG compliant. And last but not least, inclusiveness is often the case during the crisis that COVID-19 has put the spotlight of those who are economically disadvantaged. Those at the base of the pyramid, especially what we call it as the bottom 40, will be involved as well. Meaning that SMEs will contribute significantly in terms of job creation, as well as income generation that are vital in providing employment and social protection to these disadvantaged groups. So inclusive business can help bring innovative and systemic solutions to population economically and socially as well.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I think you mentioned a few very interesting points here. Number one, you mentioned wealth creation, job creation, and the rise of e-commerce. I think if there is one silver lining from the pandemic, it's just we have seen so much acceleration, adoption in going digital among consumers, among businesses, and this has created new opportunities in terms of jobs and industries. One industry, of course, particularly I want to go to Jane right now, the Lala Move. It has the growth has been tremendous. I believe compared to first quarter 2020 to 2021, volume of deliveries for Lala Move have increased fivefold, or in fact more, if you can share with us, Jane. My point to you, or my question is, as we move into recovery and learning to live the pandemic, do you still see growth, high growth, and do you anticipate a shift in demand for delivery services? And if so, what technologies do you foresee Lala Move adopting to meet changing consumer expectations?
Thank you, Cynthia. So during the pandemic, Lala Move in Malaysia actually tenfold, and it was sudden. We didn't really have the time to really strategize and really plan it well. We had to because of the shift in demand was so great. We had to do whatever it takes, onboard more drivers, and at the same time there were a lot of SMEs that started coming to us because we had API integration. So what does API integration does for them? Basically, you don't have to place the order. We will connect back the back end, and whenever your platform gets your shop gets an order, it will be pushed to Lala Move. So I think that is very seamless. And with the post lockdown, moving forward, how this business would grow, I would say that demand has definitely still keep up. Even though things are more relaxed at the moment, we are also shifting our focus to more business rather than end user. I mean, of course, like B2C, it's our bread and butter. But B2B side, I think there's definitely a lot of potential to help empower the SMEs here in Malaysia, especially during these times. I think last year was more of a survival mode. No one really had the time to really think about how we can scale, right, and without incurring more costs. So our proposition moving forward is definitely expanding our fleet. We've been expanding our fleet. For example, the van, lorries. We don't just do bikes anymore. We cater to larger parcels. We also do consignment as well as long haul deliveries. We also have presence in 3 cities today, which is Penang, Johor, and Malacca. Penang, Johor, and KL. So in these 3 cities, definitely the economy and as well as the job opportunity is, I would say, especially in Johor, it's really the B40 community really suffered because of the borders closure. Economy is really bad. And like we say, right, empowering the B40 as well, not just the SME. So the B40 side, a lot of them really lost their job during the pandemic, and it was sudden. Most of them are breadwinners. They had no choice, right, but to look for a platform to join temporary, just to make sure that they have enough income to sustain themselves. Hence, even though during the pandemic our orders tenfold, but in terms of drivers, we provided and empowered a lot of B40 to also join us for a quick buck, part-time, full-time. We don't really have a restriction for that. So aside from fleet and service expansion, moving forward, we also have bulk order delivery where it's festive season, right? We don't want any B2B to increase their cost during the festive period just to cater to the higher demand. Just like 11/11 sale that is coming up, right? It's definitely a lot of businesses will be riding on this trends wave, and to really cost control, scaling without additional operational costs. Opting for a 3PL service is definitely something that businesses should consider as a temporary solution during the peak, and as a fixed fleet. For example, Gucci, luxury brands, right? They are using us for their mid-mile delivery from their warehouse, distributing to their retail stores. I think retail will slowly start to come back again, but I think digital is still the way to go. A lot of people are very used to, price transparency. When you go online, you Google for an item, you just Google and in terms of pricing, how much you're willing to pay for it. So I think moving forward, definitely a lot of expansion can be done, especially on our end, catering to larger parcel, larger items, as well as long haul deliveries.
Oh, thanks for that, Jane. Very exciting what Alamove is doing. You mentioned something about being in a survival mode last year. I'd like to get to Rushdan. What mode are we in the coming year? And maybe you can share your personal observations on lessons that we have learned during the course of the pandemic, and what can be helpful for other businesses as they face the road to recovery.
So I think, in my opinion, companies, IT departments should actually just take a step back and build a clear understanding of which systems, which applications require the most attention, and then prioritize that work. So I think there's a lot to do, and it is easy to lose focus on what's important and what makes the most impact to the business. And we need to determine that in the beginning, from the beginning. Additionally, I think new modes of working necessitate a shift in corporate culture. So technology for me is just a facilitator. By sharing best practices through internal champions that I mentioned earlier, and conducting successful learning and sharing sessions, I think IT departments can assist in driving cultural transformation. And I think businesses also need to be agile, and in order to be agile in a tech-dominated world, I think employees need to be equipped with technological know-how and capabilities. So companies need to keep training their employees to ensure that they are up to date with the latest digital trends. These things do not necessarily cost a lot of money, and in many occasions, and from my personal experience, they can be acquired for free. Just reach out to cloud services providers. They are happily they'll be able to happily assist these companies to be able to do this for free.
Right. I want to go back to Jane very quickly just to understand the kind of challenges that Lalamove had faced. You elaborated a bit just now. And I think more importantly, we want to know advice from you to give to other SMEs in terms of sustaining their business as we move into this another new normal period, which is the endemic phase.
So in terms of like moving forward, how should we go forward, right? I think the shift of consumer behavior is very great towards online platforms. Indirectly opens up a new market that consists of new customers. So I think there's so much more to explore out there for businesses, and it's for SMEs to really take advantage. And I think moving forward, instead of just survival mode, they need to think about how to be more cost efficient and also how to take advantage of that to grow their business scale without incurring additional operational costs. The next thing, like various digital solution, like mentioned, right, it's available out there to support the market with different needs, affordability, as well as different size of business. For instance, Lalamove allows pay-per-use delivery, so that helps business to reduce their logistical costs while helping them improve their operational efficiency and offering businesses more flexibility in terms of managing their own fleet. So something to adopt if you have not go digital, it's really now or never. I think that it was a education. It was a very good education done to the nation, even to the older generation during the pandemic to be online, purchase stuff online, right? I think that, like as mentioned, the shift in consumer behavior is very great. And in order for us to cope, for SMEs to cope, they will have to re-strategize in terms of their costing and focus more on growth rather than survival.
We have just a couple of minutes left, so I want to get your results to really get your thoughts about, are SMEs ready, for this new world as we move into the endemic phase and being equipped with the digital tools that they need? Because we saw that the pandemic, yes, it helped accelerate digitalization, mostly for the front-end business processes like digital marketing and e-commerce, but a large majority of our SMEs in Malaysia still remain at the basic digitalization stage. Things like usage of IoT, cloud computing, data is still quite uncommon among SMEs, especially micro SMEs. So maybe a result you can share with us about this digital business adoption. Why are they still lagging, and how can we help them accelerate digital adoption at a higher or better pace and also at a higher level?
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. I think why they are still lagging in terms of this adoption of digitalization. Actually, we did a study, as I mentioned earlier. In that study, we see that when it comes to computerization, they are there, meaning that they acquired gadgets, for example, like smartphones, tablets, computers, laptops, and we found out that about 90% from the response that they have all this equipment. But when it comes to digitalization, meaning that adopting softwares, systems, front-end systems and back-end systems, they are still lacking. Well, we found out about 20% of the respondents actually say that they are there, but the 80% are still not there, meaning that the awareness level are still low. So we have to actually inculcate the importance of this digitalization to the SMEs out there, especially the micro enterprises. Why I say this? Because the micro enterprises actually comprise 78.4% of the total SMEs in Malaysia, almost 80%. So we can see from that proportion of percentage, 80% are still not digitalized. So we need to actually make a lot of these awareness campaign, as well as how to actually adopt and register some of the simple platforms, for example, like e-commerces, as well as the front end and back end systems. And I would like to say here is that as a responsive government, Malaysia has therefore placed a special emphasis on the needs of SMEs into various stimulus packages that has been announced. I think there are 8 stimulus packages that have been announced together with 2 budget announcements, and about 188.4 billion ringgit has been allocated to assist SMEs in weathering the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. And out of that number, 23 billion ringgit has been dedicated to drive the digital and technological transformation agenda. And under SME Corp, ourselves, we have some other initiatives, for example, like a platform called My Assist MSME that I would like to share here, that there is a platform where SMEs out there can get business advisory and advisors regarding about any single thing, including technology adoption and digitalization. And we also have SME AI digital platform or program that aim to drive SME further into digitalization by leveraging digital expertise for a more sustainable growth. And in this program, we provide subject matter expert, digital solutions, and technical support for businesses to incorporate innovative digital solutions using technology, for example, like AI cloud technology. And last but not least, technology need pitching. These are different. It's not about SMEs who do the pitching, but it's the technology providers or developers will do the pitching and share most innovative and cost-effective interoperability products and solutions to the SMEs. So I think with all these platforms and programs that we have, we can actually assist the SMEs to have a better awareness, and finally they can adopt the digitalization initiative that we have. And we also have matching grant programs for them to start their business and start developing their digital transformation journey. For example, like under Business Accelerator Program, Bumiputra Enterprise Enhancement Program, as well as programs such as Micro Connector for the micro enterprises as well.
Well, thank you so much, Rizal, for sharing all the initiatives available and also just give us an idea of digital readiness among SMEs in Malaysia. Now, with that, we have come to the end of the Fireside chat. That's all the time that we have. Thank you so much, Rizal, Jane, and Rushdan for a great session. So much to take away from this conversation, but I think the key point here is that COVID-19 recovery will be digital, and digital transformation is the only way forward. And it's never too late to fundamentally change how you operate your business with a wide range of tools that are more accessible, more cost-friendly than ever before. So thank you so much to our speakers, and thank you for tuning into this Fireside Chat.
Thank you, Cynthia, for moderating the session, and to all of our panelists for the insightful discussion indeed. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to type them in the chat box or comment section, and we will respond to them as soon as possible. Before we end, I have one final request, and that is to share your thoughts with us about this webinar by completing a short survey for the Star Media Group. You may scan the QR code as shown on the screen to complete the survey, or go to bit.ly/Microsoft-survey. Your feedback is important for us to keep providing you with better event experiences. As promised, once you have completed the survey, you will be in a running to win a prize. We have a total of 500 ringgit worth of prizes up for grabs. You will receive a winner's email if your survey completion has been selected as one of the prize draw winners. And if you would like to arrange for a follow-up session with a Microsoft representative to discuss any of your organizational challenges or business concerns, you may indicate in the survey too. Join us tomorrow for part 2 of this exciting series of webinars, where we will have our partners showcasing how technologies are used to transform businesses. If you have not registered for tomorrow's session, please scan this QR code to register, or you can click on the link in the chat box. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your participation and for staying with us all the way until the end of the session. On behalf of Star Media Group, thank you to Microsoft Malaysia for the collaboration on this webinar. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for part 2 of this webinar series. Till then, take care and stay safe.
Thank you.